Hi, everybody. Elaine here, the Animal Reiki Lady, going live for our first official live stream for SoulPet. And yeah, after last week's pilot, I would call it last week's kind of little testing the waters. I am back in my back at my little studio and ready to chit chat with you guys. We're just going to give it a second to see if anybody joins, regardless of anybody joining the live stream or not, since it's in its infancy, in its little early stages. I am going to go ahead and go forward. And hello, who's ever joining me. Don't hesitate to make a comment in the live chat. Tell me who you are. Tell me where you're from. I'll explain a little bit how this works. And hi, Lori. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining. We'll see how many others join. Last week, completely unannounced, and we had probably almost 50 viewers on at the same time. So that was really awesome. So I'm excited to see who we get to join. Hi, David. It's good to see you. Let me just kind of explain a little bit how this works as everybody joins in. And for those of you who may be then watching this as a replay, just give it a minute or two until we really dive into the topic. So let's see. My name is Sharon. How you doing? Hey, guess what? We're going to be talking more about Destiny Loco tonight. Sharon is one of the kind folks who jumped in last week. Last week, completely unannounced. I just did a little testing the waters to see how this would go, to see what it was like to live stream. I enjoy live streaming. I enjoy talking from the heart. None of my things are scripted. I just don't script anything. I leave it up to being inspired by the animals and the angels. And we'll see how it goes. So I do have just a few little notes for myself to make sure that I kind of follow and stay on track. Last week, I did notice that we were kind of all over the place, and I want to kind of stay on track. So Lori, heard my husky snoring next to me a couple times now. Yeah, that's one of the things that we listen for. We're going to talk about signs. We will always talk about signs, excuse me, because our animal companions want to give us signs. They want to connect with us as much as we want to connect with them. But your comment also reminds me that I want to try and stay focused. So my team of people, when I say we, it's me, myself, and I, and the animals who come to inspire me. So I don't have like a moderator who's watching the comments and whispering in my ear, telling me things. So I will try to stay focused and check the comments every once in a while. The interesting thing about comments on a live stream, at least as far as I know, this is brand new to me, doing live streams on YouTube. I've always been a live streamer on Facebook and Instagram. This is the first time not the first time, I tried to do it. I had a couple false starts last year, and I just couldn't get into the rhythm, but I'm really feeling called to do it this year. But after last week, I couldn't go back and find the comments. I could see comments for people who were watching the recording, but I could not see comments that came up during the actual live stream. So I will every once in a while try to take a break and look at the comments. Hi, Teresa. How are you? It's good to see you. Kimmy Cat, good to see you again, too. You guys were all with me last week, and I so appreciate it. And you can always, that's the beautiful thing about the live streaming on YouTube, is that this can be, it's recorded. So you can go back and watch at any point in time. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit. I will only do this for the first couple live streams as new people start to join, just explaining who I am. My name is Elaine. I'm an animal Reiki master. I call myself a corporate dropout. I was in the corporate America professional world for 35 years until I just could no longer resist the calling of working with animals. And I walked away from my corporate job to start doing this. So I have private clients, private Reiki clients. Primarily, they're animals who are approaching end of life. And I do readings. I do readings for animals on the other side of life. It was an unintended consequence of being able to quiet my mind and open my heart. I could just begin to sense animals that had crossed. It started with my own animals. I was a dog mom to senior dogs, 3 senior dogs, 2 who crossed within a week of each other, 1 who crossed a year later. And then as I started working more and more with other animals as they crossed, I was able to, I unintentionally was able to connect with them on the other side and receive messages that I love to share with you. The whole purpose of this channel and the whole purpose of these live streams is to offer you some level of peace, to help people find the peace that I was able to find. When my Lucy came through to me and was able to share with me what it's like at the Rainbow Bridge. That's the place that we've created. Our human minds have created this magical place that our animals love to be in. They love that they're at the Rainbow Bridge. Uh, and we've created this place that somehow has turned real for our animals. And the whole goal, as I mentioned, was to help us heal, to help us work through the grief. We are going to talk about freely in these live streams. We're going to talk about death and loss and grief, and we will cry together and we will laugh together and hopefully achieve some measure of healing. Yeah. Okay. So let's see what else. Everything else. This is completely unscripted. I do something called automatic writing, and I'm going to explain the readings in just a minute. Hi, Kimmy Cat. Yeah, it's been a total shift in my looking at comments. This is what I'm going to try not to do, interrupt myself by looking at the comments. But yes, the total shift in my life, and my whole life has it turned upside down, but in the best of ways, in the best of ways. And now I love that I can do this. Okay, Magdalena, nice to see you as well. From Sweden, hello from Sweden. I'm going to have to, I have a couple of fans coming from Sweden, so maybe I have to pick up just a couple of words here or there. 2 a.m. Thank you, Magdalena, for staying up for this. I truly appreciate it. Okay, unscripted. I do something called automatic writing. This is what seems to work for me. It's when Lucy started to come through to me from the other side, I just was inspired to pick up my pen and paper, and I consider them an extension of the universe, God, Buddha, Allah, whatever you want to call that creative divine force behind everything. Even if you want to call it nothing, that's fine with me too. But I do this thing called automatic writing, and I just visualize that my pen and my paper are extensions of souls that have crossed to the other side. In my case, it's animal souls. I have this strong connection to animals. I have no explanation for it. Yes, you can still do the same thing for people if you would like to try that. Later in a week or so, someone has asked me to make a connection with a person, and I'm not going to do that here. That's a private reading. I'm going to give it a try, and we're going to see how that works. But animals, I find, are just so, they have no preconceived notions. They have no doubts. They have no gimmicks. They can't deceive. They're not interested in deceiving us. They are the most pure, honest, loving souls. And the information that they want to share is meant to help us heal and to help us awaken to our own gifts. The things that I do on this channel are not just because I'm a special, I'm someone that got picked to be the special person who could speak on behalf of the animals. I choose to speak on behalf of the animals, but I know that each of us has the ability to do this. And I teach it in my classes too. But that's a topic for another day. I promise on these live streams, I will not ever try to convince you that you should take a program or anything like that. This is all for you guys. So that being said, I do automatic writing. Things that come to me as I'm preparing for the class, I write down immediately. So Sharon, and then who's the other one? I'll have to look at my notes. As soon as I went back and looked at the picture of Destiny Loco, and the other pet is Benny, a Pomeranian. As soon as I went back and looked at those pictures, immediately things start to come to me. And it's because I've been practicing this now for about a year. I made a commitment to do 100 readings, completely complimentary, to do 100 readings. And I think maybe I'm halfway. And when I went back and looked at the pictures of Benny and Destiny Loco, things immediately started to come through. So I wrote down a few things, but we're also going to do these live. I'm going to invite tonight, it's going to be Benny and Destiny Loco, invite them to join me and see what kind of information comes through from them. So for readings, because the live comments get lost, if you put a request in the live comments, I'm going to miss it. I'm just not. So you can go back and watch the recording. If you go back and comment on the recording, I will be able to see it. But I do have a special Gmail account set up. Read for my pet with the number 4, read number 4, my pet at gmail.com. And I'm just going to be 100% honest. I had no idea when I created that email account how many people needed so badly to be in touch with their animal companions. So even just from between last week and this week, I received more readings requests than I can possibly do. So I'm going to take them in order. That's the best I can do, is take them in order, unless, as I mentioned with Beardy last week, Sometimes an animal will come through to me in the most unexpected circumstance. I'll immediately do some automatic writing and make sure that we have a reading for that particular animal, because sometimes I have no control over who comes through. And I'm going to share the example of Benny in just a minute. So hello, everybody. Thank you guys for joining me. It's so awesome to see you guys. Teresa's asking for Molly. I promise we are going to get to all of the requests. And hi, Cheryl from Arkansas. I will do as much as I possibly can. And thank you, Kimmy Cat, for saying an awakened soul. What I'm going to share about that is that I chose to, when I felt the nudge and when I felt the push and when I felt the animals calling to me, I took my first animal Reiki course and I chose to lean into it. And I knew that I was going to lose some friends. I knew that I was going to have family members think I'd totally gone around the bend, but I chose to lean into it. And what resulted was a beautiful community. I have a beautiful community of people and animals here and on the other side, between Facebook, Instagram. I used to do LinkedIn, but it was too pushy and too salesy there. And that's not me. And YouTube. We have a beautiful community growing. So if you guys want to join the community, in the description of my channel, I put all the links. Go for it. I'd love to see you there. Teresa, right? We're connected in that community. Okay. So, and Kimmy Cat, you say that your community, your pull is from humans. Awesome. Maybe animals too. Whatever you are drawn to, that's what I say. Go with it. Just go with it. Okay. We're going to stop looking at comments for a second. I go like this because I think that I might be able to block them and I can't. Unscripted, healing, live comments get lost. I'm just looking at my little agenda that I wrote for myself. The readings that I do are for your animals. And then I also try to include information from something that I just randomly called the Animal Collective. All the animals that I have worked with. My Lucy in 2020, followed by Winston. And then there was a beautiful dog in France named Dudley. And Dudley was actually before that. Dudley was one of my first clients in life who transitioned to the other side and who I did feel a connection with as soon as Dudley crossed. And Dudley is from France. So I will share all those experiences with you guys. I'll share stories, I'll share the experiences, but regardless, I read for your animals. I wish there was a better word for that, but I make a connection. I invite them to connect with me so that I can share information with you that helps you to work through some of the grief, to manage, cope with the loss of our animal companions. They're here for such a short period of time. I wish that they could be here as long as we were here. And sometimes that timing is different, but my little Winston was only with me for 2.5 years, but he was a senior rescue. I use automatic writing. So we have the Animal Collective is the group of all the animals who I've ever worked with. They've come together in one beautiful spiritual soup, one beautiful spiritual soul that shares information that's also meant to help you. So if you would like a request, the best way to do it is to send me an email through Read for My Pet. Please include a picture and also include if there's any specific question you'd like me to ask them. I ask for some piece of evidence. I have been taught when I started to make these connections, the woman who I was training with taught me to ask for a piece of evidence because they want to demonstrate that this is real. I mentioned they want to connect with us just as much as we want to connect with them. And the best way for us to begin to trust and set aside our disbelief and suspend our disbelief is if we can have a piece of information that's really meaningful to us. So I always try to ask for one piece of information like that. And then what comes through is beautiful healing. They want to bring us peace and calm. And they want to help us relax about this. They want to help us, more than anything, they want to help us overcome a fear of death. So we're going to be sharing memories and healings and readings. And tonight we will be so the reason that I selected Benny, and I wish I'd written down Benny's mama's name, and I did not, but I'm going to tell you about Benny, and then also Destiny Loco. Forgot to include a picture. Kimmy Cat, send another picture, and I will, when I go back, what I do when I check that, check the email, Read for My Pet, I will go through and search for your name. So a lot of people get impatient, which I completely understand. Believe me, I completely understand. I'll pull all the emails that you sent and I'll flag them so that I don't go back and do repeats. So let me tell you about Benny, first of all. And Benny, when I did a reading for Benny, Benny's human said to me, I thought that you were reading for my Benny, but then somebody else stepped forward and said, oh, that's my Benny. And that is so completely the way that it works. When I invite Benny to join, and if I am not mistaken, both Bennies happened to be Pomeranians. And I shared the example last week of Milo. I had 3 Milo requests. And when I did the reading for Milo, the Milo who we thought I was connecting with was not the right Milo. And Milo's human said, that's not my Milo. But somebody else said, but that's my Milo. And it's okay. We just go with it. We roll with it. We flow with it. When Benny came through the very first time and I did the reading, it turned out not to be Benny, the Pomeranian that we thought we were reading for, which is all good and fine. And tonight I've already started, as soon as I look at the picture of the Benny who I'd like to do the reading for, I immediately started to get information. And I will also be quieting my mind. I'm going to close my eyes in just a few minutes. I'm going to close my eyes and do a reading for these 2 animals. But I just wanted to share. So there's a little bit of automatic writing that goes on. Sometimes I could write pages, but I'm going to ask them to come through for us if they will, if they'll do this as part of our live stream. First thing. Okay. So Sharon. Oh yeah, Sharon. That's right. Sharon, you're the Benny. And who's Destiny Loco then? Destiny Loco is for Brandy. So Sharon, you are for Benny. And Destiny Loco is for Brandy, who joined us last week. I don't see her on here this week, but that's okay because Destiny Loco started to come through last week. We had like 3 or 4 animals come through all at once, and it helped me understand how to best manage this because our animal companions, they want to come through and they line up and sit around the room, and I can feel the souls of so many animals with me right now that are so happy. They're giddy and playful because they want us to be giddy and playful too. They don't want us to be mired down in grief. They don't want us to be, more than anything, mired down in guilt. And we're going to talk again and again about how we can release the guilt and how we can forgive. Next week's topic is going to be forgiveness, how we can forgive. And when we do that, it shifts something in our life. We don't have to be afraid, and we don't have to be alone. And I like to use the example of twins. And this is actually one of the little notes that came through to me in general from the Animal Collective tonight. And that is, if you think about twin flames, some of you have probably heard of the concept of twin flames. And we normally think of it in terms of humans. So as a human being, we come to Earth and we are here and we'd so love to meet our soulmate or our twin flame. And we think of it as another person. But what if it is an animal? And I even like to use the example of actual twins. There is a connection there. Our twin flame, our soulmate, is connected to us in a way that cannot be broken, even if they don't stay in their physical body. Our souls are linked forever. And we feel a loss because we are so used to living life with them. It's about learning how to live life with them and their energy from a whole different perspective. And we don't have to ever lose them. And the name Lucy wants to roll off my tongue because I even call Gypsy, my dog Gypsy now, so frequently, Lucy comes out of my mouth. And I know it's just a reminder. It's a reminder that she's still here with me. As clear as day, I can feel her here with me. And she sometimes reminds me of that by her name coming out of my mouth. All right, so I'm going to take one more second and read some comments. Sherry says 2 accounts, the right one, not Cheryl. Oh, yeah, no worries. Yep, it's all good. I will find. I'll make sure. I'll try not to duplicate. And if I do duplicate, that's also not a big deal. And the last one is Biljana. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly because I also don't have my glasses on. Connect with and strengthen the bond with my dog. Is he still alive? Any tips, please? Okay, so we'll talk about. We have so many weeks ahead of us to talk about all these all these amazing things, and how you know if your bond is still there, and how to connect with your animal. I'll also be sharing tips how you can connect with your animal companion beyond just receiving a message from me. Okay, back to the twin flames. The twin flames, soulmates. Uh, the bond it can be stretched. It can be attached by a cord that is never ending, but it cannot break. They are always there, and our animals are right by our side. So that's how I would like you to start to think of it, that just because your animal has crossed to the other side of life does not mean you have to be without them. Our existence is on so many dimensions and on so many levels. And I am honestly coming to understand that the greater part of our soul, that this little physical body is just a smidge of who our real soul is. And that when our animals cross to the other side, our higher self and our soul is there to be with them. So they're not alone. They're not ever by themselves, abandoned, wondering why they left and where we are. It doesn't work like that at all. The moment that they cross, and sometimes it's even before they transition. We'll talk all about this as the weeks go on. They're already on the other side with our version, with a higher version of ourselves, a higher version of our souls. I'll share the story real quick of Jake, and I will often share Jake's stories because Jake was an important part of my life, even though he was a foster dog. As Jake was transitioning in the end, he dug himself a little hole in the backyard, and he would rest in that hole. And his mama would tell me, I think that he's gone, and I walk out there to check. And when I touch him, as soon as I touch him, it's like he alertfully comes back to his body, almost as if they're testing the waters on the other side and experiencing what it's like on both sides and deciding whether or not they're going to choose to stay or go. But that's just one perspective about that. Okay, so let's see where else we want to go with this. Shall we go right into readings? I want to keep these about 30 to 40 minutes long. I don't want to go longer than that. And when it's 2 a.m. in Sweden, I can't tell you how appreciative I am of you joining me from Sweden at 2 o'clock in the morning. I do have a lot of followers from England, from the UK, Ireland, England, Scotland, and then a few from Greece as well. So it's very interesting to see how the times are going to work out. All right, so what I'm going to do for Benny, first I'm going to read to you what came through to me from Benny. And Benny is one of those doggies who came through twice. So we'll see what we get from Benny this time. So this is for Sharon. And okay, Boljana, you're from Australia. I have a good following in Australia because one of my mentors is in Australia who helped me. If you want to look up somebody interesting, her name is Stacey Sargerson, and she lives in Sydney, and she will not mind me sharing her name at all because she is the person who taught me how to actually do my very first live stream. So she's awesome, and I think you should go connect with her. She's from the UK, by the way, but living in Sydney. And Julia from the Netherlands, nice to see you. 222. I love that. 222. Okay, let's go to Benny. I'm going to share what came through to Benny right away. As soon as I opened Benny's picture, what came through? What a little ham. So that came through right away. A ham, a hot dog. Well, all of a sudden I'm getting food references from little Benny. And the things that immediately came through for Benny are little fox, little minx. That's the phrase that came through. Something about fruit. Immediately had a reference to fruit, and dogs don't normally go for fruit, so I'm not sure where that came from. A little Fruit Loop. What came through from Benny right away was that Benny knows exactly what a handsome boy he is, and Benny is one handsome little boy, and he has many admirers. And those admirers are still here. They're physically here, but he has many admirers. And there is someone, this comes through often. I want you guys to know how often this comes through because it can be helpful to know for your animal companion as well. When our animals cross, there is always someone there to meet them. I'm getting the sense that they are there with our higher self, but there's always another person. And I am getting a picture of a tall, red-haired man. Sharon, I give this stuff unfiltered, and I have no explanation for where the information comes from. So I would love for you, if anybody can validate this. I'm getting a picture that a person was immediately there to greet Benny. And I'm just picturing a tall, red-haired man, That's what I'm getting. What else is coming through from Benny? So I'm just going to ask for Benny to please come through and share something with me that is meaningful to his mama, Sharon. And Benny, was there something with Benny's hair? Did Benny, and he's not calling it fur, he's calling it hair. Was there something going on with Benny's hair? Did he have some kind of problem that you were concerned about? Like there's a patch of hair missing, that can never grow back. That's what's coming through for Benny. I can hear toenails clicking on the floor. So I'm not sure if Benny was had trouble with the toenails, perhaps not liking his toenails clipped. There's lots of dogs who don't. Like that's one of the things we do with our dogs when they're puppies, is try to get them immediately used to having their feet played with and toenails clipped. But oftentimes, especially with rescues, I don't know where Benny came from, but the word rescue, when it pops out of my mouth, I go with it. Rescues are sometimes, so they're the ones who have the biggest fear of having their paws touched. So let me see what else comes through for Benny. Some beautiful smell. Is there a scent that Benny liked? The other thing that happens when we talk about smells from animals is that they smell, hear, and see things differently than we did. And when we think that a scent may be unpleasant, they may think it's the happiest scent in the whole wide world. And when we think that something is pleasant, they don't like it whatsoever. I'm getting the sense of a candle or some type of scent in the home that Benny did not like. Benny did not like the scent. To him, it smelled, I can't get a sense of what the smell is, but I get a strong smell. And perhaps did it set off an allergy for him? Is there something, was that what had to do with Benny's hair? Was that there was an allergic reaction to something that caused Benny's hair to fall out someplace? I'm just getting a sense of a bare spot. Okay, Benny, what else would Benny like his mama to know? Sweet mama, kisses all over your face, little kisses. I picture his little tongue kissing you all over the face. Okay, this is going to be hilarious, but I get a sense that he loved to kiss your nose, and every once in a while that tongue went where it shouldn't have gone. And I just get a sense of his tongue licking you, kissing you all over the face, loving to kiss you right here, right in the corners of your eyes, right in the creases of your nose. Kiss, kiss, kiss all over the face. Breath, something about the breath. Was there also a problem with his teeth? Although we know that can be an issue with dogs as they age, their breath begins to smell because of their tooth decay. But I really get a sense that there's something about it. Did he had to have a tooth pulled? Did he have a tooth pulled? You can let me know. I'm going to open my eyes now just to look at the comments. I'm so glad you don't mind staying up. Be the truth. Thank you. That's what I try to do, right? Just tell it the way it is. Be the truth. That may be the name of your account, but I'm not seeing any comments come through from Sharon. So we will see if any of that resonates or not with Sharon. I should warn you guys also every once in a while to bring tissues. So when it is time for your animals reading, sometimes we cry, and that's okay. But I get a sense from Benny, no tears from Benny. Benny is one happy little boy. So that's what I have from Benny. So I'm going to move over to Destiny Loco. Now, we started to talk a little bit about Destiny Loco last week, but I was glad that I couldn't see the comments because I don't remember what we had to say about Destiny. Destiny, a beautiful little girl. Oh my gosh, the sweetest girl. As soon as I looked at Destiny's picture today, I knew right away. I mean, what a little cupcake. I don't even know what kind of dog. Interesting that both Benny and Destiny Loco have similar colors, gingery colors, like a ginger color. No red-haired man. He did lose his hair, almost had to have all of his teeth pulled out. He also kissed me and sometimes licked up my nose. Okay. So that's how we know that it was your Benny coming through, licking your, I could actually feel that sensation. Yeah. Okay. Interesting sensation. Okay. Going back to Destiny Loco. This is for Brandy and Sharon, if you want to post, if there's a question that you would like me to ask brother-in-law, red-haired man. That's definitely coming through. There was a red-haired man there to greet him. I can't promise you that it wasn't from another life. We will talk extensively about reincarnation as time goes on. And I know you don't have to believe. Nobody has to believe. I'm not going to force anybody to believe what I believe, but I have learned all kinds of things about reincarnation as we've talked to our animals on the other side. So that red-haired man, it's still there. It hasn't gone away. So we'll have to think about who that might be. But then the word brother and brother-in-law came through. So for Brandy, who I haven't seen jump on yet, Brandy, if you want to comment after, if you watch the replay, if you want to put some comments in afterwards, I'll be happy to confirm or we look for any of that for you. But what I wrote down initially when I looked at the picture of Destiny Loco, what a cutie pie, same kind of colors as Benny was, only Destiny's a little girl, and she could smell food drop a mile away. Now, I specifically wrote that on purpose. The words came through, smell the food drop. It wasn't so much that she heard the food drop, but she could smell anything. And when it got down to her level, she could pick it up anywhere. Wherever you happened to drop food, she knew exactly where it was. She could smell food. She could smell food drop a mile away. Destiny Loco, Poco Loco. I'm just reading for you what came through right away. Also, that Destiny was a lap dog. She just loved to sit in your lap as if she was a smaller dog. And I get the sense that I only know this from her picture, that she was like a medium-sized dog, but that she was a lap dog. And I could feel her actually sitting in my lap, like as wanting to jump right up onto my lap. As much as I could feel the nose licking, I could feel Destiny's weight, just wanting to sit on my lap, looking at the computer to make sure that I was doing everything right, looking at what I was writing. That's what I got a sense of, that she was making sure I was doing everything the way she wanted it done. So she had a specific way that she liked things done. Did she have a specific way that she liked her food presented to her? I think she wanted everything just so everything had to be according to her schedule. That's what's coming through from Destiny Loco. Also, the picture that you sent to me, Brandy, the picture of Destiny Loco, Destiny believes that it is the best picture ever. And her ears are kind of funny. Her ears are kind of hanging out funny. She's got a goofy little smile on her face. One of the cutest pictures I personally have ever seen. So I'm going to close my eyes again. Do you have any sense of why he was passing out? Okay. All right. So I'm just going to go back, and before I invite Destiny Loco to join me, love and miss him so much. The fruit thing, don't know. He did eat oatmeal. Okay. Didn't get anything about oatmeal. Did like candles sometimes. Nope. Didn't like it. Any sense of why he was passing out? All right. So right away, I've got ringing in my ears. Wow. Okay. Really, really, really powerful sense of vertigo. There's a ringing in my ears. There is a deep sense, like if you've ever had water stuck in your ears and you know that hollow, weird feeling, you can't wait to get it out of your ears. That's the feeling that I've got. Something going on with his balance. Right away, so there's some nausea coming up for me. Sometimes I will get physical symptoms, so I'm just asking him to share with me. I'm taking a nice deep breath. Ringing, ear ringing, vertigo, nausea. And that's all. That's what I got. He does not know. He doesn't know. I'm also getting a sensation at the very back of my head, a weird sensation, just a tingling feeling, just a weird sensation. And I don't have a name for it. One thing that I will share is that I'm not a medical intuitive. So there are some really gifted animal communicators who get a sense specifically of things within the body that were certain diseases. And I don't get that, but they will often give me physical symptoms such as I just described. So if that makes any sense for you, Sharon, that's what I was getting from Benny. Okay, I'm going to invite Destiny Loco to join me. I already get a sense. I feel that I hear this panting, this fun little happy panting, a happy little joyful pant that she loved to play. She loves to play. Right now she's playing. She's kind of running back and forth. It's not a ball. I'm trying to get a picture of something that has arms. It has arms and legs, something that she's got in her mouth that she loves to play with arms and legs. She's running right around right now. She's looking at me and with anticipation, and like telling me that yes, but she wants to play. So I'm just going to ask her if she can share with me, other than what we've already shared. Is there anything for Brandy that she would share? Our animals love us so much. There is such a sense of joy, like absolute joy, coming from Destiny Loco. Destiny. She loves the name Destiny. She has a destiny. I'm going to go out on a limb here, because I know that all right, I'm just going to say it. I get a sense that Destiny's already on her way back. That Destiny has decided that there's more that she has to do, and that you can look in her eyes. This comes up a lot also. When people want to know if it's time to bring another animal into their life, I will always tell them yes. If they even ask me that question, then they've already been considering it. But how do they know that they'll make the right connection? Because the animals they won't let us miss them. You won't overlook them. You'll go to a shelter and an animal will keep drawing you back and drawing you back and drawing you back. And I'm not prepared yet to talk about the way reincarnation works. I'd like to build up a little bit of trust here with you guys first. But animals will always find their way to you. They will always find their way to you. And that's what I'm getting the sense from Destiny. Destiny is already on her way back. I'm not getting I do get a sense that she may look very similar to herself, but to be prepared that she's coming back here to experience other things. So when she comes back into your life, she may have other behaviors. She may have other personality traits that are not quite the same, but that you should love her just the same. She will let you know in one way or another that she has come back to you, and that it's her that's back to you. And you'll know just by looking in her eyes. Everybody, you will know by looking in their eyes if they've come back to you. Okay, I'm just going to check comments again. Does he know I will be with him again? And Teresa, that's definitely true. So I'm not 100% definitely true that I'm thinking that you're talking about reincarnation. They will always find their way back to us. Does he know that you'll be with him again? That answer is 100% yes. If I could put everybody's heart to rest about that, if you've got a question about whether or not your animal is wondering where you are, wondering how much time it's going to take you to get to heaven, how long are they going to have to wait sitting at the Rainbow Bridge, there is no sense of time on the other side. And I'm going to try to explain this as the weeks go on. All I can say for right now is time and space exists here on Earth. We are on Earth in this 3D world where we have bodies and everything is physical, and we have pens and we have cars and we breathe the air and we drink water and we eat food and we have relationships and we have bills and we have everything. This whole human experience that we're going through, the physical experience is in what we call the 3D world. And there is time, because it's how we make sense of everything. So I guess the example I like the best is that time serves us here on Earth so that we can make our flight on time, and we don't burn the chocolate chip cookies, and we can keep track of our age. All of these things help us make sense of the world that we live in. But once we cross to the other side, no such thing. There is no time, there is no space, there is no distance. It is like that for them. Not only that, they still are connected with us here. They were right by your side, and that's where the signs come in, because they want you to know. Whether it's from my voice or from you hearing their name called, or you smelling them, or you hearing their toenails click, or you hearing them snoring in the backseat of the car, whatever sign they try to send to you, use your senses. Use your senses. Ask for a sensual sign that lets you know that they are still with you. So that's a long answer to a short question, Sharon. Yes, he knows, because he's right there with you. Go to sleep tonight, and as you're falling asleep, ask for a lick on the nose. Ask for the sign. it's there. And I like to use that sweet spot. I call it the sweet spot, and we're quickly watching the time go by here, but it's okay. I like to call it the sweet spot right between awake and asleep. So it's either at night as you're drifting off to sleep, or in the morning when you first wake up. Before you get out of bed or before you drift off to sleep, just set the intention that you would like to receive some kind of sign. Let them come through to you. That it's like where the veil is thinnest, when our subconscious mind is about to take over and our conscious mind is about to drift off. When our resistance is way low here, ask for the sign. Ask to hear it. Ask to smell it. Ask to taste it, feel it, whatever it may be. Ask for that little lick on the face and feel it. It may be in the morning when you wake up. Ask for it as you fall asleep, and be open to the possibility of receiving it when you wake up. Jack is the example. I've used the example 100 times because it's a classic example of a sign. I had asked for a sign from Jack the day that he crossed. And I usually tell my clients that my clients where I'm sharing Reiki with them at end of life, I tell them to look for an immediate sign. Look for a rainbow. Look for the cloud. Look for the white bird to fly across you. Look for the feather. Look for a dime. Whatever. Be open to receive a sign immediately. They like to let us know that they've crossed immediately, safely. But I didn't see that from Jack. I asked for it from Jack. So at that night, as I was falling to sleep, I just kind of was drifting off, and I was, Jack, just please give anything at all. I'll take any sign you want to give me. And he actually gave me 3 the very next day. The first sign was, as I was waking up, he was a toilet drinker. He would drink from the toilet. It was annoying. And if he forgot to put the lid down, he helped himself. So I woke up early in the morning. I'm an early riser. I woke up and I heard him drinking from the toilet, and my mind hadn't made the connection yet. And I said out loud, Jack, please stop drinking from the toilet. And as soon as I said that, I came instantly alert. I was wide awake because I knew. I was like, wait, that was the sign. He gave me the sign of the sound of him drinking from the toilet, when it couldn't have been him, and yet it was. And then later that day, he gave me 2 more signs, but we'll talk about that more in the future. Okay, we're quickly approaching the 45-minute mark, and I don't want to hold anybody any longer. And I could talk all night long and share all of this in one video, but it's something that we want to take this from week to week to week. So let's just catch up on the comments. So true. They won't let us miss them. Don't worry. You don't have to worry about that. You won't miss them. Like, you won't go down the shelter and go, oh, I wonder if I should have picked that dog. The next week when you go back and a dog's been adopted, and you go, oh gosh, I thought that was the dog that was for me. Don't worry about it. Relax. It's all good. They will not let you miss them. Thank you. Do get lots of signs. Teresa says she died and came back. Have a huge kingdom. Every pet I had, I saw. Oh, if you can ever have that experience, well, we'll go more and more down the rabbit hole as you guys want to talk about this. The night Benny passed, holding his little body, I saw a tiny sparkly orb. Definitely. So I know that there are people who will say when you take pictures and you see that little orb, that it's just a reflection, it's a little glare of light, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is that, and sometimes it's not. If you see that little floating light, or if you, it can be anything. There are so many signs. I'll try to bring up more and more examples every single week. Let me see any other comments. Beloved Cleo went to the other side in April after being with me for 18 years. I'm so glad that the videos are helping. Julia, that's all I want to do. I don't do this for like financial compensation. I don't do this because I want a bazillion followers. Although someday it would be nice, but I already feel like I do. I feel like all of my followers are animals on the other side of life. But I would just love to be able to bring healing, more and more healing to people who are suffering in grief and guilt. That's really all I want to do. Being on this live was a coincidence. I love that. If anybody has ever listened to Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks is a woman who channels a group of souls named Abraham, but she calls them co-incidents, not coincidence. So they just happen to be things that happen at the right time. We call them synchronicities. And yes, our animals line them up for us. We'll talk about this in the future as well. There's no explaining how this actually came to me. Zero explanation. I didn't set out to study it. I didn't actually study. It wasn't until it started to happen that I started to look for people to work with so that I could kind of finesse it and understand it and get better at it. But there is no such thing as coincidence. And I fully believe it was the animals who brought me to this place, Lucy, who taught me how to start doing it. So yeah, we will say thank you to Cleo for bringing you to this video. Oscar, you're so welcome. I'm so happy to do this and could listen longer. Didn't realize I could be more specific with signs. Yeah, we can get as specific as you want to get. We'll keep talking about this. Don't worry. But for right now, I am going to wrap things up. Next week, the topic for next week is going to be forgiveness. And forgiveness is such a broad topic. And I'm going to, if you haven't seen it on any of my prior videos or in some of my shorts, I mentioned the Hawaiian or Polynesian practice of Ho'oponopono. It is a forgiveness practice, but forgiveness is more than you think that it is. And it is a great way to open the door to you connecting with your animal companion on the other side, is through the practice of Ho'oponopono. And Oscar saying lost Jerry November 15th, 2 months ago. Yep. Still feel the pain. You know, I'm going to close on this note. And Teresa, yes, I will see you in class. Do you get a new link? No, it stays the same every week, but I'll get back to you privately about that. The pain never fully goes away. I still cry over Lucy. I still cry over Jack. Jack had this mane of like, kind of almost like a lion, only he was a dog. Jack had this mane around his neck that I would just love to bury my face in. It still makes me cry. I miss them. I miss them. The pain eases, the grief subsides, but the deeper the grief, I see it as a reflection of the deeper the love. And although it never fully goes away, I choose to focus more on the love. I just love them so much. And I look forward to the day that we're connected again. I look forward to the day when I can smell him again, when I can hold my face right in his fur. And I trust that it's going to happen. Okay, next week, topic is forgiveness. I'm going back to readformypet@gmail.com using the number 4. I will go back and I'm working my way backwards. So there are quite a few. I'm working my way back. So tonight we worked with Benny and Destiny DeLoco, and there'll be 2 more for next week. And in the meantime, for anybody who's watching this on the recording or on the replay, I appreciate it. Put your comments in. I'll be happy to respond to them. I love you guys. And until next week, may animals light your way. Take care, everybody.